I've been in Belize now 26 years. 26 years I've been here. And before I came here, I was in Liberia, West Africa. I had already gotten out of Peace Corps. I was a Peace Corps volunteer, but I was with the U.S. government. I was what the U.S. government considered a risk. I was a bit of a rebel, but I was still a U.S. citizen, so I had a right. And so I was in Peace Corps. I decided to stay in Liberia after my Peace Corps tour of duty. And then after that is when the war broke out. So I was living there on my own when the war broke out. Now, the impact of the war brought me to have passion for young men. The young men that were out of school, misplaced, those young men ended up being the soldiers. 10, 11. Back in the day, they were Rambo. They used to wear wigs and head ties. They had the M16, riding on bicycles, terrorizing whoever was there. So I was caught behind enemy lines for about 10 months. But it gave me an appreciation for my life, and that I found out that there is a purpose. There was a purpose for me. I didn't die during that time. While I was in Liberia, I got jaundice, hepatitis, dysentery, and malaria all at the same time. And I was in the hospital for about 10 days or more. I don't know, because I was not, what do you call it, when you get delirious. I was delirious and all this, that. So, and I came through that. And raising children by yourself. See, back now they call it single parent. Back then we were tagged as unwed mothers. And if you were an unwed mother, you weren't going to amount to anything, and your children weren't going to amount to anything. Because they said we were in a vicious cycle. Just like they're telling you, you're in a vicious cycle. And we all are. We're in this cycle, and it's time to break it. Time to get into our new season. Who is it in your family that gives you strength? Who is it in your family that gives you support? Who is it in your family?
Mom.
Your mother? Everybody is saying
Mom.
Your mom? Your children? Okay.
Yeah, for everybody, but you get a higher percentage for mom at all times.
All right. But then let's just say, because I know some young men right here in Belize whose mothers were not able to support them and to give them love and compassion. So they had to find somebody else. Or they had to find many other people to help them find the love and the compassion and everything that comes with family. So love and respect are major for a family. The impact of the social system has on the family unit needs to be prioritized. When I say that, I'm saying that you as young men have the power to change the system. You have the power to bring your family into a closer unit. There are some people whose family has moved to another country. I don't want to always say the States. Yes, I was born and raised there, but I've lived out of the United States for many, many years. 26 years here, 10 years in Africa, so, you know, I've been gone for a while. So even though I'm from Detroit, Brother Muhammad mentioned Detroit and the cars and everything else. I bet you all know more about Motown. Yeah, see, Motown was really, really back in my day. You know, the Motown Review, the artists going to the clubs, listening to them, as they, just like here, when you find local groups, they go to the different bars or nightclubs and perform, and they become popular, like the Temptations, Smokey Robinson, Diana Ross. They were there, but then they were just like everybody else, growing up, like you are. You're just like everybody else, growing up. But your family, and the importance of your family, you have to have a strong, positive attitude. When I do the training, you mentioned that I'm the director for Credit Master Systems, and I train the staff. And when I train them, the first thing I say to them is, how is your PMA? And they look at me like, what is that?
Positive mental attitude.
There you go. Positive mental attitude. You have to have a positive mental attitude. When you leave here after these 2 weeks, I think the goal is for you to have a positive mental attitude. When you go on the job, you need to have a positive mental attitude, because you are the person that is giving your family, showing them, giving them examples, setting examples. And so if you don't set good examples, then your family, not just your children, your family doesn't make wise decisions. If your family loves you, they're going to support you, they're going to protect you, they're going to do what you want or what you need for them to do to show their love and compassion. But then that goes two ways. Love and compassion to you, and love and compassion from you. If you're in a situation where, let's say you grew up in a yard where your family had mostly your parents, okay, had left and they're in the States, but you were raised by someone here. But that person that you were raised by may not have had the patience, right? They may not have been able to be strong enough. Well, I won't say ignorant. I won't use that word, because a lot of people just don't know. And if you don't know, you just try to do your best. My children were born when I was 16, 17 years old. I didn't know nothing, right? But I knew that they were young men, and they had to grow up, and they had to respect women, and they had to respect the family, and they had to show love. And consequently, I have one that's living in Atlanta, Georgia, and he's a private investigator, and he does well. He was a U.S. Marine. I have another one, son, that is in education and football. He's a football person. But you see, when they were being raised, I was right there for them. When people told me that they couldn't babysit, that I dug my own hole, that I needed to do better. But when people tell you need to do better and don't tell you what you need to do to make it better, then you're still lost. So it's important for you to understand who you are, where you're coming from, what do you want. And once you realize what it is, what you want, then everybody else will follow. Everything else will follow. If you have love and respect for everybody, that love and respect will carry on. And I know that they talk about gangs, right? When I was younger, we didn't call them gangs. We called them clubs. And the guys had their sector and the girls had their sector, but we were clubs. And in order for our parents to allow us to hang out together, to do whatever it was that we did together, we had to have meetings. We had to do things that were positive. And I think that that's what needs to happen right now here, not only in Belize, but everywhere. Because gangs are not just in Belize. They're all over. You know, I'm from Detroit. Detroit had 3 M's: motor, music, and murder. Detroit was the murder capital of the world for a long time. you see. So moving around in a country that's other than mine doesn't bother me at all. Because I've learned a long time ago that black folks is black folks is black folks. And I don't care what country you in, there is some similarity. And as Brother Stampley was telling you, that similarity is that we are from the motherland. And you know, those of you, I see people with locks, men with locks, you understand the heritage. And when you know the heritage, you have to live it. When you understand what your purpose is, then you just do it. If you don't know what your purpose is, find out. What are you good at? How can you lead your family into doing something that's upright? I have friends now that grew up in Belize, and the first thing that they say is, was never like this then. So I asked them, how did you allow it to get like this? It's not you all's fault. It's not your fault. Something happened along the way where that love and respect from your family was gone. And now it's time to get it back. And it's time for you to step up and be that person that gets it back. You know, the criminal element of what's going on in Belize is not just Belize. And I want you to understand that. It is not just Belize. Belize is so small that everything seems blown out of proportion. But you can bring it back because of the love and the respect that you have for one another and that you have for your families, your mothers. Each one of you that said anything said your mother. You know, you'll do anything for your mother. I had a foster son. He just died during the COVID. He turned 21 on June. He would have turned 21 on June the 6th. He's my foster son because I was a mentor for his mother. Now, she was a hardhead, and he was a hardhead. And they stayed in not bad trouble, but they stayed in trouble. But I was always there for them. And right now, I may not let them come to the house because some of the stuff that they have done in the past to me, but then they know I love them. When he got sick, he called me, Mommy. They still, to this day, they call me Mommy. And that is because I loved them because they were my family. There's so many things that we bring on ourselves because of who we have become. But if you know within yourself that you have authority and power, not power to kill, not power to steal, but power to change your destiny. It's important because when you change your destiny, you're going to change your families. You're going to be that strength. You're going to show that love, that respect. Everything that you say, and I'm looking at you, you know. I'm glad I didn't have to get up here and do a lecture and that I was able to sit here comfortably and hopefully I can see a few smiles. So that means I'm getting through. And that's the importance of being a facilitator, not just to get up here and stand and have you listen to what I got to say. I wanted you to know who I was, where I came from. My oldest child is 57, you see. They say that some women have a bad boy element. They like bad man. Bad boy, yeah. See, when I was 14, 15 years old, I liked bad boys. But back in those days, we didn't have guns and knives, and we just didn't walk up on people. We might fight with your hands, but it was never anything as detrimental as is coming now. So COVID came, and it put us in a new frame of mind. It made us understand that we have to do things for ourselves. It's not about who can do something for you. It's about what you can do for yourself. Because when you do it for yourself, it's there. Right? You have to be disciplined. You ever know what discipline is all about? You know what being disciplined is all about? Say it again. Being mannerly? No, well, yeah. All the time. You see, discipline is being mannerly all the time. When you lose your discipline, you lose your power. When you become disobedient to authority, you lose your power. They look at you totally different. There's another thing that I teach when I train my staff, and that is posture. And when I say posture, that's the first thing they do. They sit up. I said, no, I'm not talking about that. I want you to sit up anyway, but I'm talking about the way you present yourself. Do you present yourself with confidence? Do you look like you want something? Whatever it is you want, do you look the part? Your appearance is important. The way you talk is important. When you go for a job, when you're talking to someone, they look at your outside. They don't know who you are. They look at you, the way you carry yourself. And I know I'm going to be touching some sagging, ain't it? When you're trying to make a new season. Sagging is style. I like style. But then there's certain things I can't wear. You know, I'll be 73 in September. You see, there's certain things, you won't see me walking around with no spandex. You know, you won't see it. And if it is, I got on some kind of top just down to my knees, you see. But that's respect for myself. I love myself. I respect myself. And when you walk in a way that you show confidence and that you respect yourself, other people are going to respect you. I don't care if it's construction. I pass by, going up the road, going down the highway, you pass by construction sites all the time. You know, I see the guys and what they're doing, but then can't keep a job like that. People only owe you so much, but you owe yourself more.